So just when you thought international travel couldn't get any messier, boom. Donald Trump drops a travel ban like it's 2017 all over again. This time, he's waving the pen like a wand of authority, and with one stroke, he's blocked travelers from 12 countries. 12. And surprise, several of them are African nations.
As you pointed out, there are two groups. One is restrictions. You've mentioned the countries, but in terms of Africa, you're talking about countries such as Burundi, Sierra Leone, and Togo. And the argument there is about the security, and that a vetting system in those countries is not up to standard, where you can be able to allow people coming from that country to visit the U.S. With confidence that the processes were properly in place in terms of ensuring that people who will be visiting the U.S. from those countries are people who will not pose security threat to the U.S. Maybe even some people who are a security threat to U.S. are using passports from those countries, because the issuing of passports, the processes are not as strict as they should be. You then have the complete ban that would include church, because it's near Sudan, it's receiving lots of refugees from war-torn countries in that part of the world, the Republic of Congo, and note not the DRC, which is strange because the DRC, that's where the systems and the institutions of government are not functioning well because of the conflict. And then Equatorial Guinea, including Eritrea and Somalia, Sudan, those are countries that are experiencing security challenges. But also you have Venezuela and Cuba, no surprise there. But I think it was just a busy day yesterday for President Trump, including the argument and the tension between President Trump, GOP, and Elon Musk on the current tax cut and expenditure bill that Trump has requested Congress to approve. But unfortunately, Elon Musk is opposing that bill, and he has launched a campaign, listen to this, kill the bill, almost a rhyme like kill the boer, to oppose this bill. It has gained traction. He's using social media in the same way he propelled Trump to the Oval Office and also supported him financially. He's using the same tactic, the same platform to oppose this bill, and this has caused tension between President Trump and Elon Musk, including some congressmen from the Republican Party. He has been deporting people from countries that are posing security threat to the United States of America, and clearly where they feel that the citizens of those countries might pose security threats to the U.S., he has been deporting those people, and mainly from the African countries. And that is why there was an outcry when he decided to accept or to grant the so-called white Afrikaners as refugees in that country, because you're pushing majority African black people out of the U.S., but you are accepting white Afrikaners from South Africa, when South Africa is not a security threat to the United States of America. But I think that double standard, you can see it, because South Africa is not included in these countries. And I was saying to myself, when South Africa was under siege because of President Trump's posture against South Africa, only Ghana responded and supported South Africa. All other African countries were quiet. Now they have to face the music. They are being banned. There are restrictions imposed against some of these African countries, because they thought they are better off when South Africa was dealing with the hostility from Trump. And now that is easy, and you see these countries being in trouble. I'm sure many people were even expecting that he will announce individuals from South Africa who would be banned from traveling to the U.S. But here, South Africa is not excluded, and therefore it is going to be problematic. And let me add, he has also signed a proclamation for student visas to Harvard University coming from outside America. You know what's the problem. They have been fighting with the Harvard University.
All right.
Chad, Sudan, Libya, the Republic of Congo. Yep, all on the list. And if you thought that was all, think again. 7 more countries, including Sierra Leone, Togo, and even Cuba, got slapped with partial restrictions. If passports had feelings, they'd be crying right now. Now before you pack up your globe and cancel your dreams of visiting New York, let's break this down. Because this move by the former US president is not just about airports and visas, it's a political statement, a diplomatic earthquake, and depending on who you ask, a calculated strategy or a disastrous PR stunt. Let's start with the basics. What exactly happened? Donald Trump signed a new presidential proclamation effectively banning entry from 12 countries. This isn't your regular airport screening. This is full-on, you can't sit with us policy. For countries like Chad, Sudan, Libya, and the Republic of Congo, the ban is total. No visas, no entry, no American dream, at least not for now. For the other 7 countries like Cuba, Togo, Sierra Leone, it's a bit softer. They're facing partial limits. Translation: you can still get in, if you're lucky, connected, or just very, very patient. Now let's answer the question everyone's asking. Why? Why these countries? Why now? According to the Trump administration, it's about national security. The official statement says these countries either failed to meet US security standards or didn't share enough data on criminal suspects and terrorist threats. Sounds serious, right? Well, that's the idea. But critics are not buying it. They say the list seems oddly familiar. In fact, many are pointing out that this feels like an updated version of the so-called Muslim ban Trump tried to push through early in his presidency. Except this time, it's got an African twist and Caribbean spice. So let's zoom into the African continent, because Africa's presence on this list isn't just coincidental. It's strategic, controversial, and yes, very political. Chad, once a key ally of the US in the fight against terrorism in the Sahel region. They've literally helped America track down extremists. But now they're on the no-fly list. Sudan recently went through a revolution to remove a dictator and install a transitional government that's trying to play nice with the world. Also banned. Libya. Okay. Yes, Libya's had some major chaos since Gaddafi fell, but there are still questions about how banning its citizens helps anything. And the Republic of Congo. That one had people scratching their heads. It's not exactly a top source of travelers to the US in the first place. So if security is the excuse, the logic is shaky. It's like saying you banned pineapples because you're allergic to bananas. And then you have the partial list. Togo, Sierra Leone, Cuba, what does that even mean? Well, it means things like immigrant visas are suspended, but some non-immigrant visas might still be issued. Might. It's basically like your crush saying, maybe I'll text you. You're not blocked, but don't get your hopes up. Now here's where things get spicy. Critics, especially those from immigrant communities and civil rights groups, are calling it what it is, a backdoor way of implementing racist immigration policy. They say this isn't about security. It's about shrinking the number of black and brown people coming into the country, especially from parts of the world that Trump allegedly once referred to as, you guessed it, whole countries. That quote still haunts him, by the way, and this move just reignited the fire. But Trump supporters, oh, they love this. They see it as their man protecting American borders, standing up to the so-called globalist agenda, and making sure only vetted, safe people get in. To them, it's about law and order, not race and politics. The battle lines are clear, and the debate, oh, it's just getting started. Let's talk numbers for a second. The U.S. State Department issues thousands of visas every year from African nations. These bans will impact families, students, workers, and people just trying to visit loved ones. The ripple effect is huge. Remittances will drop, students will be stranded, universities lose tuition, families stay separated, weddings canceled, babies not seen. All because someone failed to update a security database or didn't share fingerprint data in the correct format. Meanwhile, American embassies in these countries are suddenly the most awkward places on earth. Picture a visa officer in Chad trying to explain to a family why they can't go to the graduation ceremony of their son in Chicago. What do you even say? Sorry, our bad. Blame Washington. It's not just sad, it's messy. And the international community is watching. African Union officials have already started whispering about retaliation. Some diplomats are even suggesting reciprocal bans. You ban our people, we ban yours. That's right. American diplomats might soon need extra documents to enter Togo. The irony. Let's be real. This isn't the first time the US has played hardball with immigration, and it won't be the last. But every time it happens, the damage goes deeper. Trust gets eroded, diplomacy takes a hit, and America, the so-called land of opportunity, looks more and more like a members-only club with a velvet rope and a very grumpy bouncer. And what about the people? What are the actual citizens of these 12 countries saying? In Chad, many are furious. Their government has been cooperating with the US on counterterrorism. This feels like betrayal. In Sudan, where the new leadership is trying so hard to reintegrate with the global community, this is a slap in the face. In Libya, people are too busy dodging militia bullets to care about a visa. But still, it stings. In Cuba, oh, don't even get them started. That island has been under American sanctions longer than most of us have been alive. This is just salt in the wound. Togo and Sierra Leone, meanwhile, are just confused. They weren't even on the radar until now. They're like, wait, us. What did we do? And that's the heart of the issue. The randomness, the opacity, the feeling that this list wasn't based on real threats, but political calculations. That it's more about optics than outcomes. Now here's the plot twist. While all this is happening, thousands of Americans are traveling abroad. No bans, no blocks, just boarding passes and seatbelt signs. Which raises the age-old question, who's really being protected? But maybe that's the point. Maybe this isn't about protection at all. Maybe it's about distraction. Trump has always known how to control headlines. When the news isn't favorable, change the subject. And what better way than to spark outrage, rally your base, and throw global diplomacy into disarray, all with one signature. In the end, this travel ban will be debated, challenged, protested, and possibly overturned in court. But the damage, at least to perception, is already done. So the next time you think about booking a flight, maybe double-check that your country didn't make Trump's blacklist. Because in this political climate, passports aren't just travel documents anymore. They're political footballs. Stay informed, stay alert, and if you're from one of the banned countries, stay hopeful. Because politics may fly, but so can change.